Morning folks, I'm flying solo this morning. Sort of got Dylan in the background, I think. Hopefully he's going to appear in the back end in a minute. And I might be able to hear him for reading comments out and stuff. Tina's downstairs. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please shout. But good morning everybody. It's a cloudy old day in Truro, but it's nice and warm. So yeah, so just me on my own this morning. Dylan's downstairs. Tina's downstairs doing lasering. Dylan's up in Doncaster doing the comments and all that. Whether we can get the technology working, I don't know. This is something we've never tried, but hopefully Dylan might be able to speak to me while I'm doing this. I've got headphones on in a minute. Might be able to hear him. If I can, brilliant. If not, he's going to read the comments out and just sort of answer them, whatever, and do stuff. But we'll wing it anyway, see how we go. So this morning we are building that LX246. The boss is here. She's here. LX246 we're building, which is the 20-foot shipping container size offices, which we're going to do this morning. So we're just going to get ready and get sorted, and I'm going to show you a bit of this, which Tina's brought upstairs, which is a bit of bendy wall. I'll show you that in a bit. We've got a bendy wall and a bit of bendy coping stones, hopefully. You're busy lasering, aren't you? So, and we've got technology issues again. It's not quite right. It's misbehaving. So anyway, I think you can hear. People can hear us. Nobody said they can't, so fingers crossed, we're all good. So give it a second, and I'll get my headphones on, see if I can hear Dylan and not hear myself talking too much, and we will get stuck in today's thingy. So give us 2 seconds, we'll be right back.
Enjoy, everybody.
See you in a minute. Okay, hopefully you can hear me through that. And if I put these headphones on here, put that on, I can hear myself, which is awful. But it might stop me talking too much. Maybe. Right, let's just turn this down a bit. Now I've just locked my phone. I can't see what's going on. Right, okay. LX246, which I've not built for a number of years. So I shall be working through the instructions just like you guys will. Now, if I add Dylan, if I unmute Dylan's mic, can I add to stream and do that and do solo layout? In theory, Dylan, if you speak, I'm not going to hear you.
The joys of technology. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, super.
Which is good.
We're winning.
And it's not too bad. I'm just trying to ignore myself.
We'll pretend like we've not spent the last half an hour trying to get this to work.
Yeah. And we got something sort of working in the last 10 seconds, which is what, and we're actually a bit late starting. Okay, in the kit, we get 2 sheets of laser board because we're going to build 2 copies of the 20-foot container. We get a kit map, which tells us what the parts are and some instructions. We need to follow the instructions to the letter because, like I say, it's about 6 years since I built this. No, about 2019, what's that, 3 years. So I need to make sure I cut the right parts out and we do the right things in the right order. So next week, I'm going to try and get some plug-in headphones, which I can plug into the desktop that I'm using to do this streaming. Then I won't be able to hear myself talk, which would be really nice. So yeah, if you feel free to pipe up if anybody asks any questions, Dylan, just shout them out like Tina normally does.
Of course I will. And we've got some good sound quality comments as well, so I think people can hear us properly.
Good. Right, I should have released all these parts earlier to make it a bit quicker, but I didn't. So just bear with me. I'm cutting from the back of the sheet as normal because you get the nice pop sound when it cuts through. I've no idea how or why it works like that, but the parts just come out easier from the back of the sheet.
Steve's asked, didn't I build one of these recently? And I don't think I did. I don't think I've done this kit before. I think I've done one
I don't think we've done it.
similar, but not exactly the same.
Done a container. I don't think we did it.
I don't think we have.
Somebody will probably tell us what we did. If we could have a look on the YouTube channel, and we'll probably find that we did do it 2 weeks ago, or something daft.
Wouldn't surprise us.
Anyway, it's something to do for Wednesday morning.
Does this kit come in Engage?
Does this kit come in Engage? Not yet, but there's no reason why it can't. We do all the other containers in Engage. The only difficult bit is going to be the steps, which I wouldn't fancy doing, to be honest. But somebody may fancy that challenge. Right, we're using the usual laser cut kit glue, Deluxe AD87. It's sitting upside down in a pot, as it always does, stop the tip blocking up. Okay, we're just going to glue parts A and B together to start putting together the main, or the core of the container. I'm going to take my time a bit on these first couple of parts, because if these glue together nice and securely, the rest of it goes together really easily. This is really off-putting, listen, hearing myself. We might have to switch to silent thingy, and I'll just let Dylan answer the comments in text. Okay, right. Ooh, I just realised that every time Tina turns the Hoover on downstairs to clean the laser out, the mic gets really loud on this. It sort of self-adjusts. Okay, so we've done A, B, and we're doing part C. Hopefully. That's it. I'll hold it up to the camera in a second. We're just building the core of the first container. So we've got a three-sided thingy. Of course, we've got two of these to build because they're stackable. And we've got steps to do, which should be fun. These look decent in a builder's yard or a, I don't know, scrap yard, depot, whatever. There's all sorts of uses for these, especially if you get the glue on the right side. Seems like months since we did one of these, because we're up in Scotland last week.
Jed has asked, what sort of time period will this kit cover? I'm going to say from the mid-70s to present day.
Yeah, when they switched from non-ISO containers to the ISO stacking type, I suppose.
That's probably like 78, 77.
Don't know much about container history, really. Okay, we've got 4 sides now.
Chris has asked, have you ever done a live tour of your unit so we can see the lasers in operation, etc.?
No, we haven't. We'll have to do one. It will be noisy, obviously, because the fans are running. But we can do one. We're hoping to do the open day in September, which will be nice to get people down and you can have a wander around. And okay, so I've did the front on there for the door and window. It's nearly gone together correctly. That's better. And put a bit of glue on the inside of the joints, just so it's got a bit of extra grip. Now we could do a live tour. We need to do a live demonstration of the modulus thingy that we had on display at Scotland. Show people how that works. Okay, it's most of the core done. Put the lid on, or the roof. The main construction of these containers is really easy. The tricky bit is the steps, which I have to say I'm not looking forward to. But they're not that bad, really. Not as bad as I make out, perhaps. It's not as bad as hearing yourself while you're talking. So that's just awful. Right. That's one core done. So we'll do another one quickly. So we've got the two that we can stack up. What I'll probably do when these are finished is send one up to Ian and get him to paint it and put it on a diorama, I think. Ian's busy building some small dioramas to show some of our kits in use and stuff at the moment. And writing some more of his in-depth build guides. Have you recovered from Scotland yet, Dylan? Or do you still feel slightly jet-lagged?
I still do feel a bit jet lagged. I think it's the lack of Tunnock's caramel wafer. I'm going through a drawer or something, I think, of haggis for breakfast and caramel wafer.
Did you actually buy any?
No,
wafers?
not in the end, no, which is a shame, I suppose.
It's weird because there's a massive billboard outside the bed. What's it? Outside our room windows, isn't there?
Literally just outside. First thing we saw in the morning was a massive billboard for Tunnock's tea cakes.
Because they couldn't have advertised anything else.
No,
it had to be
and there was a whiskey one around the corner.
Oh yeah, there was, wasn't it? Was it Johnny Walker's Black Label or something?
I think it was, yeah. Tom's asked, have you ever thought about doing wraps for the inside?
I haven't really, no. That's not a bad idea. We could do with sorting some interior wraps.
You'd paint it black or grey, wouldn't you, I suppose? Or whatever colour you wanted. Yeah,
I suppose most would be like a mottled grey or fleck, is it? A grey fleck inside? Because they'd be panelled, wouldn't they, I suppose?
Yeah, like an off-white colour.
Yeah.
The joys of 1970s buildings.
Yeah, I need to get some textures done for interior detailing. There's a lot of things I need to do.
There's a couple of really good photos of that on the club of interior detail. People have done posters that have. I saw one this morning. So I can't remember what it was now. I think it was Tom Crocker. He put a photo of a poster which was really sort of half ripped, and it looked really, really, really neat.
I'll have a look.
Clive has asked, could you do a build of the office furniture you produce and pop them in a container office? I'd love to see how you get the door handle down.
Yeah. Could do. I'll do one. I'll perhaps do a detailing one next week or something. Build the office furniture. In fact, we've got two office furniture kits, haven't we? We've got one with a spinny chair, and we've got the vintage filing cabinets one. So I could build both of them, actually.
Yeah, we've got a couple of other bits and bobs as well.
Yeah, true. I'll have to raid the drawers and see what I can
Chris
find.
has let us know that he worked on a container ship in 1972 and they were all well established by then, so possibly the late 60s onwards.
Okay.
the date of this sort of kit. Which is great to know. Thank you, Chris, for letting us know.
Right, I've just realised if I stop talking, all the background noise comes on so you can hear everybody else downstairs. Not that you want to hear me rattling on. Okay, nearly done 2 containers. We need to get organised and sort out the club night for this month. I've asked a couple of people if they're interested in doing a session for us. A lot of them are busy with the Ali Pali show, whatever it's called. So it might be some sort of demonstration. I might see if I can get Paul down or something, show us how to paint hard standing and various other bits this month, depending on how busy it is. Right, we've got 2 cores for a container. So now we need to add parts G, H, I, J, K, and L, and the rest of them. So we start off by putting part G on the top. So if you watch the container build of the week, it's exactly the same principle. We're essentially wrapping the solid core with some detailed layers. Okay, so that's our part G. That's going to simply glue on the top like that. Just going to put glue around the outside and a few sort of spots across those bits there. Just hold them somewhere near still. And that goes on there. When you're building it, you need to make sure that your sides here sit nice and flush and square. So when you glue the sides on, everything fits as it should.
James has asked, how tall are the containers going to be?
Just say that again.
James has asked, how tall are the containers going to be?
How tall? These are roughly 32-ish millimeters, give or take a little tiny bit.
But they are stacked, so pairs. So
but when they're stacked, yeah, so
in total,
they're going to be 64 mil, roughly. That's the thing. I should have brought me simpler rule around. This is too complicated for this time of the morning. Yeah, roughly 65, 66 mil when they're done. Should start to come together quite quickly now. All that background noise is a bit of unpleasant, isn't it, when she puts the Hoover on? It's the big industrial Hoover thing in the laser room. It's a bit noisy. Okay.
We need to get our own recording studio on your mezzanine.
Yeah, need some sort of sound deadening thing.
Soundproof food would be nice.
Yeah. Might not be a bad idea, actually. Now we've moved the exhibition gear out of the way, it might be better to do something like that. It'd be much easier for recording videos and stuff. Right,
Steve has asked, has anyone seen my screwdriver? And it's probably right in front of your nose, Steve, because every time you lose a tool, it's always right in front of you.
Either that or it's in your hand.
Yeah. or on your ear or something if it's a pen.
Yeah. Like you're looking for your phone and you're already messaging somebody on it. Or you're about to message somebody, say, "Where's my phone?" Okay, this is the sides going in now. So do the back side. On the side, you just have to make sure that you've got the forklift bits, whatever they're called, fork slots at the bottom. And obviously you don't want to glue that piece over the side with the doors on. As quick as I can doing this. It's not exactly exciting viewing. But you should start to see some sort of container shape appearing now. Okay, that's the two sides done. So we'll turn it over. In fact, we'll do the ends now. Just realised I've not got any of the lighting on either. It shows how organised we were this morning. Hopeless.
Jeff Redmond's asked, what glue are you using?
I missed that. What am I using?
What glue are you using?
Oh, what glue? It's the Deluxe Laser Cut Kit glue. Part number AD87. It's brilliant for this
really
stuff.
highly recommended that stuff, isn't it? It's really good.
It sets in a second. It's like super glue for laser board.
It is. It's really good stuff. And it goes a long way as well. I'm getting down to the end of my first bottle. And I think we've been using laser cut kit glue for over a year now.
Yeah. It's brilliant stuff. It's expensive, about £6.
Yeah, but it goes a long way. Like I say, I've used one bottle in about a year and I built loads of kits.
Yeah. Don't look at the price of it initially when you buy it, just buy it.
Do you use a new blade every week? Mine seems to go blunt by the end of the model, but too sharp to throw away.
This has been in here since about last August. It's really blunt. But if you cut the laser board from the back, it's fine. If I was doing wraps, I'd change the blade. But I'm not doing wraps, I'm just literally removing parts from the sheets. So it is an old blade, very old. With laser board, they seem to last quite a while. If you're cutting grey board, they'll go blunt very quickly. In an ideal world, you want a knife for doing wraps and a knife for doing grey board.
Stu Hilton has just pointed out that the glue is currently out of stock on the website.
Yes, it probably is. Only because we took a load out of stock to take it to Scotland, and I've not probably put it back in again. If somebody can message Tina, just ask her to put it back in stock, because we've got at least 6 downstairs. If not, I'll get it put back in stock right after this. Unless you want to do it, Dylan. We've got 6,
yep.
I think.
Yeah, can do. We've got about 6.
Yeah, and there's more on order.
Super. I put 6 back in stock now then.
So should be back in. Well, should be a new batch in tomorrow, perhaps. Hopefully, anyway. You can hear the phone ringing. That's Ian. Okay, just putting the ends on. Then we're going to do the front bit with where the door's going to go. Decide what we're doing with the doors, whether having them open or closed. Obviously, if you were going to detail the interior of this, you wouldn't put the roof on until you're happy with the interior, and then you have to paint the exterior afterwards. Or how would you do painting? Well, you could paint all the parts. You could assemble it. You could leave the lid up, leave the roof off, and then put that on afterwards. That would work. Okay, so we've done two ends now. Definitely looking like containers now. Let's do the fronts. And we're nearly to the fun bit, which is the steps. Right, Stu Hilton's just said, can I reserve a glue? So might need to put 5 in stock now, do they? And take one off already. And Stu's got a click on
stock. I'm just trying to find it on the system.
Go to.
Okay, I'll put 5 on then.
Yeah, just put 5. Have you found it? Okay, we'll do the downstairs container with closed doors. So I'll glue this on as it is. And we'll do the upstairs one with an open door. And also you've got the option for open windows as well. And you can glaze the window if you wish, which I forgot to do. So what I will do on the top one is we'll glaze behind, because I'm not reading the instructions, you see, like a fool. What I will do is I'll glaze behind this, which will sit on there nicely. You see that? So I'll use a bit of acetate, no idea what that's off, but we'll use that. So we'll open these windows. That's the closed one, so closed door and closed windows. So what I'll do now, just realised I've not got my glasses either. If I release these here, we'll glue these shutters on into here. We'll have to have a toilet break while I go and fetch my glasses in a minute, because I won't be able to build the steps without them. One day we'll be organised for these. Okay, so they're glued on now to represent an open window. I'll do the same with the door. Which side's the hinge going to be? I'm just going to be that side, steps go up that way. Right.
In theory, glue should be back in stock in the next couple of minutes.
Lovely. Thank you.
And James has asked, what kind of stairs will the containers have?
Stairs, it will have these. You see them? I don't know what they're called, just industrial steel stairs, really.
They're tread plate ones, aren't they?
Yeah, tread plate detailed. Right, I've just release 3 sides of the door. I'm going to bend it back on its hinge and then run some glue down there to strengthen that. I've just gone really, really hungry. And no biscuits to eat.
It's okay, Tom's Takeout is down the road.
That's very true. You'll have to just forgive me, well, for 15 minutes while I go and fetch something. Right. We're going to glue a piece of acetate on it. Well, cellophane. This is going to be interesting. So if you're following the instructions, you would glaze the inside of the building. Not this bit, but I didn't, so I'm going to try and glaze this. It should look all right when it's done, but it's just a bit fiddly trying to make this work. So let's cut that out there. I never realised the background noise on here was quite so loud. I do think we'll have to get some sort of soundproof booth sorted, I think. A little bit more pleasant for you when you're watching. Turn a bit more off.
And some better microphones as well that we can get to work.
Yeah, I think if I get some different headphones for this kind of thing, the microphones are better than they were last time. They just didn't work at all.
I use Apple AirPods for my live streams, and they seem to work all right. I think
I'll
as
have
good as
to
your
try
lapel mic.
I'll try and borrow Elizabeth's old one.
Okay.
I just don't like earbud things. They just don't seem to fit my ears. I'm too old for them. Okay, we've got a glazed window, sort of. The only reason why I've not stuck a big piece over this here is because you're going to see the glazing around the window frame if I'm not careful, if I do it too big. So I've cut it to fit that. So in an ideal world, before you put the top on, glaze that window, then put this on. But as you can see, we've nearly got a finished container now. Or you can just cheat and model all the windows closed, or the shutters closed, and then you won't need to glaze anything anyway. The only tricky bit you've got is when you paint it, you'll have to mask the window off if you are glazing it. Right. That's that done. A bit more glue down here just to strengthen this. Just don't want the door to fall off, because I've just bent it back on its perforations to stay nice and sturdy. Okay, this one, we've finished the base off now. All the parts on these are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which sheet you're cutting from. The base is in 3 parts because we're allowing for the forks on the forklift thing to get underneath the container if it was real and it wasn't being lifted in place.
Or if you're Jeff Pike and have some actual working 176 forklift trucks.
Oh yeah,
Which
exactly.
wouldn't surprise me if you did.
Yeah. He's got some brilliant stuff as Jeff. He must have some patience as well to sit and engineer it all. If you've not seen his stuff, jump onto the Rowan Modelers Club and have a look at his radio controlled gear. It's brilliant. Somewhere here in the building we have a radio controlled scale model scenery Ford Transit. It's not been used for donkey's ages, but we have one. I think he'll convert pretty much any 176 diecast into radio control, I think.
He's certainly got a knack for it, though. I don't understand how he can do it, but he does.
Certainly micro-engineering.
I wonder if he could do a whip and trolley.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, actually. Probably.
That would be interesting.
Okay, so the base of this container is going on now. And that's one of them done. There we go. That's one complete. Easy build. Apart from that's not fitting in properly. It's better. It's just tight. There we go. That's the bottom one done. And this will be the upper of our two. Of course, it could be either way around. You could just have the steps going up to the one with the door closed. Okay, and that's nearly the second one done.
It's really quite quickly, don't we? We're 37 minutes in. We've pretty much, well, you've pretty much built 2 containers.
They're an easy build.
17 minutes each.
Not bad at all. And of course, then you can go to any level of detail on them. I'm sure there's probably transfers available. What's it to add all the usual markings? You can add signage, all sorts of things. If you use the, what's the sign pack called? We've got an industrial sign pack. Use those to add extra details. Health and safety posters, all that kind of thing. There we go, that's the second one done. On a stack, just like so. And either way. Or you can ditch the stairs if you don't fancy building the stairs. There you go, 2 together, you're done. You have a site office complex. Right, bear with me for 10 seconds. Not that you'll think I'm going anywhere, but I'm walking to the other side of the building to try and find my glasses, which were on my desk. There we are. Right. Aha. I can see now. Now we're doing the bit that makes you think, why did I even bother starting this? It's not that bad, really. If you take your time, one step at a time, it's not too bad at all.
I don't know what your preferred method is, Justin, but I always prefer to do the top stair, the bottom stair, to sort of hold it in place. Then once the glue's fully set, I'll focus on the rest.
Yep, 100% agree. Yeah, and you build a solid mass then, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. You're working with something that's got a bit of bite onto it rather than just flailing around.
That's right. If you try and rush it and put too many steps in at once and whatever else, you end up with a thing that's just too floppy and useless. It's I'll cut all the steps out and the other riser. And we have
Jack
everything we
has
need.
asked, when you live stream for period shops, you said that you would produce a double fronted shop with bay windows and that mean. Are these still on the to-do list?
Yeah, they are on the list, yeah. Probably going to be back end of this month. I'm hoping anyway. And then what we need to do as well with the doors, I've just realised we've got door handles to put on, but we'll put them on later. Okay, in the instructions, what does it tell us to do with the steps? Okay, there is a jig thing which you can use. Now what we need to do is work out which side we want the riser with the platform on and which side we want the solid or the plain side. So we want it that way. We've got the riser with the top platform thingies, and then we've got just the rail that way, stair rail that way. So we're going to go with it like that. Okay, we can use this jiggy thing to make life a little bit easier. That will hold that up there. How did I do this before? I was right over the edge of the desk. So if you put this jig on a block or something, so it's a made up set of containers, it's just on the desk, but put that jig over there, position the side of your step railings in there, and then position the other one in there like that. The idea being, we should be able to glue a set of step in. Oh, there's Lola. In fact, what I'll do is put it in one side first.
Is that DHL or is that sandwich man?
Crikey, Lola, that's loud. I can't hear anything else. Hey, Dylan, you said something a minute then. No idea what
Is that
you said.
DHL or is that the sandwich man?
I think it's probably DHL or DPD, I think. Hopefully DPD, who's bringing the envelopes for the issue 2 of our club magazine, which is going out this week. Some have already gone out, but we ran out of envelopes. Okay, so put first step in, and I'm going to let that glue, or let it set. Certainly worth taking your time with these.
It's like
you get first step in. Say again?
So it's like watching brain surgery.
It feels like it and all. If you don't want to use the jig, you don't have to. It's just a little bit easier sometimes. I'll try and get one of the bottom ones in. Put a tiny dot of glue in there. And then put this one in. So probably best to wash your hands before you start doing this, because if you've got any glue on your hands like I have, your fingers are just sticky lumps. Right, that's better. Okay, I've got 2 treads in. A little bit fiddly, but not too bad. I'm trying to secure that one in and that one. reasonable amount of glue on it to hold it. Let that set for a minute. Okay, so once we've got all the treads in, we then have to glue the top platform in and the side supports, and we're done. So it shouldn't take too long now. Talking amongst yourselves while the glue dries. Right, it's starting to go off now. So in theory, if we carefully lift this one into place, like so, oops. Okay, it started to look more like steps. So this is the most complicated part of this build. And the key is taking your time. Right, now that's got that, we can put it back in the jig. We'll start to make sure we've got plenty of glue on everything. But try not to glue it to the jig. If you do, it's not the end of the world because you can just run the knife down the side once it's all set. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, so that's the beginning of a set of steps. Look. And then one at a time, to fit the steps in. A little tiny drop of glue on each one. Don't need a lot, just enough to hold it for a minute. When they're all in, we can sort of lather the whole thing in glue. Tweezers are definitely your friend on this bit. So we're at 4 steps. Another 24 to go. But as you can see, once it starts to set, adding the others is quite straightforward. What I might do while I leave that to dry for a few seconds is show you the thing that Tina brought upstairs earlier. While I wait for that just to settle a little bit. Ages ago, we played around with bendy wall, and we used the bendy wall on the KX59 humpback bridge kit. And Dylan drew these up. Was this last year, Dylan? Back into 2020, perhaps? Yeah, I bet it was. A 5-foot bendy wall. This is something I've been racking my brains for a long, long time, trying to work out how best to do it. And I think we've got an idea now. I've been trying to come up with flexible coping for a wall. And I found flexible stuff that we can use on the 3D printer. So I've printed a very basic set of coping. It's almost 3 mil wide, thereabouts. But the idea being with it, if this glue works with the flexible stuff, 3D printed stuff, we can actually have flexible walling. So you can cover each side of it with your brick paper or stone paper or whatever, and just bend it to shape. Obviously you need to cover it with brick paper after you've bent it to shape, otherwise it won't stretch and bend properly. So let's just see if this laser cut kit glue works with 3D printed rubbery stuff. So I'll leave that for a few minutes now while I finish the steps off. If it does work, I'll tweak the coping a bit, and we'll have a set of bendy walling finally. It's only taken us 2 years. I know a lot of places, most walling is probably straight, but down here there's a lot of stone wall that just follows the bends on country roads and stuff like that. So I thought having a bendy wall kit would be quite a good idea. It's not the most exciting of things to watch this. If I zoom in a bit and push forward, you can perhaps see a bit more of what I'm trying to do. So just putting a little tiny drop of glue on each one. The laser board's quite absorbent, so it sucks the glue in a bit. But hopefully when this is done and we take the steps out of the jig, if they've not glued themselves in, it'll be nice and rigid. I'm using the shorter tip on the glue pot because the ones that come with this glue block up really quickly and they're really hard to clean. So I'm using one of our shorter tips, a 1/2 inch tip on it. And the thing to stop it blocking up when you're using it is put it in a jam jar with a bit of wet tissue in the bottom. Stops the glue blocking up when you're using it. It's essential when you're trying to do something like this. Okay, we're getting there now. Got about 4 or 5 more to put in. Then the top platform is really easy. As are the legs and stuff, stubbing. It's coming together now nicely. And you see it's quite quick now to put the steps in because we've got a nice solid unit now. Take your time on the first couple of steps, get them in neatly, let the glue go off, then you're on to a winner. The harder of the steps is the bottom ones, just because the upright on the railings is in the way. It's in the way a bit. There we go. One more step and we're done on the step. Right. Try and feed this last one in. It's going to be the hardest of them all, isn't it? Right, get in, you blooming thing. Sounds like coffee time downstairs. Coffee time downstairs even. Get my words out. Okay. There we go. Right. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. All I'm doing is running some glue down all the steps now. Just putting a little bit on each one. Make sure they're all in. Nice and firmly. You've still got a bit of adjustment as well on the, you can wobble the steps about, look, so you can get them nice and straight. I think that's about right. And if we turn it over, we can do the same again with the glue on this side. And it should be rock solid now. Okay. Top platform time. And we want to do it this way, aren't we? So it goes in like that. Okay. So that just slots into two slots in the top there, like that. If we run a bit of glue around the back, should get that. That side needs to be glued to the railings there, like so. If you listen carefully, you can hear Carl talking downstairs. Right. Okay. I want to glue the railings for the back of the top platform into place. It goes on like that. Just onto the tabs again. That Hoover's so noisy. Never noticed it before, but we don't normally hear ourselves, so can't normally hear the background noise. But now I can hear everything you can. Okay. Looking pretty decent. So one last thing. Nearly one last thing. Two last things. We need to glue these here bits onto the steps just to hide the joints and stuff. These are just kind of finishing strips just to keep everything looking neat and tidy. So we run a bit of glue up there. And we glue that on. Like that. What it does is it covers all the joints up, so we've got a nice neat looking set of steps. And do the same again for the other side. I think we're about done. A small cover strip for the back bit there. So it's covered all the joints up on everything. Makes it look more like a welded set of stairs. And final piece, need to glue this onto here, like so. There we are. Should have a set of steps done now. One set of industrial stairs. These are available separately actually if anybody wants them. I think part number LX245 I think gives you a set of these. Freestanding set. Okay, so that should, in theory, sit nicely. Open the door too much. There. So once they're painted, glue the steps in place, and you have a container site office. Not a site office, a site office. There we go. Not too bad. How long's it taken? Let's just see what the time is. It's taken us an hour and 5 minutes. That's not too bad, is it, for that build? Oi. For that build. So a complete set of steps and a site office. Ready for painting and detailing. So I'll get this sent up to Ian and he can have a play around and put it on a diorama. Right. Did the flexi walling work? Looks like it did. Right, the coping is glued nicely. So there we have the basics, or the basis of a flexible wall system. How do they open the windows in the bottom container? I don't know. They don't. Build the container so the doors are on the side. if you wish, I suppose. Or you leave the railings off. Leave the railings off one side. You can trim the railings off that side. You don't leave it on the side. Then the window will open. Actually, yeah, you can do that. Trim the windows off there. Trim the not the windows. Trim the railings off. Then it'll work. Or you can build the steps go the other way. Either way, doesn't matter. Just reading bottom of County Vania. Door and window opposite side. Yeah, just flip these pieces over. Just do them that way. When you build it, you can do it whichever way you want. Just reading the comments now. Where's the dog? Dog's downstairs, being noisy mostly. So yeah, so that's the basics of flexi wall in there, and that's the shipping container site office LX246. If you've used these on your layouts, love to see what you've done with them. I've seen a few over the years, but if you've got some pictures, feel free to email them in. Just email them to help@ScaleModelScenery.co.uk. I'm going to have a play with this wall now and try and create some nice weathered stone wraps and brick wraps and stuff. I might make a wider version of the coping, although it's designed to represent a lot of the coping down here, which looks like it's just cement, really. It's just domed cement. But we could paint the coping with any kind of brick colours, blue brick, red brick, paint it in a stone colour. It's just done in grey for the minute. So, but Clive said, actually, Clive, good point. Yeah, because these are modular, you see, it just said, I remember going into one where you couldn't open the window because there's steps. Well, it's a prototype, and it's a real thing. It's just like the real thing. You can't open the windows because the steps are in the way. So, no, the steps aren't that bad, actually. Just take your time. If you get the steps glued in, top, middle, and bottom, leave them for a few minutes for the glue to dry properly, and all will be well. Right, I'm going to switch these blooming headphones off. That's better. Now I can't hear myself talk, which means I'll probably make more sense now. Thank you, Dylan, for doing the comments and looking after things while I'm doing this. Hopefully, week on Wednesday, Tina will be back with me. It's just Kate's off this week, so we're kind of short-staffed downstairs at the moment. Not sure what the next build will be. Who knows? Might try and get a good shed finished by then. Stephen Mix says turn the bottom container around. Yes, just turn the bottom container around. You can have a site office going that way. Look, not that one. Yeah, that way. Just turn it around. Do that. Do that. You've got a site office. It's ultimately quite flexible. Do what you like, really. But that would work, wouldn't it? Yeah, quite chuffed with that. Anyway, I'll get these up to Ian. He can detail them and paint them and make them look all funky. And we'll get them on a diorama. Then you can see how they look in use. So that's it. That's this morning's build done. Cheers to Dylan, as I say, for doing the comments. I'm going to have a play more again with the wall in now and make a cup of tea and get some other stuff done, really. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the technical issues. We seem to be plagued with technical issues at the moment. I need to spend more time getting our gear sorted out beforehand rather than doing it 2 minutes before we go live, which would be a better option, wouldn't it? Flexible walling, look out for it next few days, hopefully, if I can get it to work. Right, I'm going to get some tea or something and something to eat because I'm starving. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll catch you all next week. Dylan will probably do next week's live, but I'll be doing newsletter at the weekend and all the rest of it, so back to normal. Right. See you later. Ta-da.